You were born in secret. Not metaphorically, literally. No birth announcement, no press release, no trending hashtag. The most powerful man in Russia made sure of it. While the world watched your father reshape nations, redraw borders, and silence enemies, your existence was classified information. You didn't get a code name like the president's son. You got something more Russian, more absolute. You got erasure. The safest child in Russia was the one nobody knew existed. Your father controls the largest country on Earth, 11 time zones. Nuclear arsenal second to none. An intelligence apparatus so deep, it has operatives in cities your geography teacher has never heard of. And all of it, every single piece of it, is focused, at least partially, on making sure nobody can ever use you against him. You are not just a child. You are a strategic vulnerability that must be protected at all costs. Your childhood home is not a palace. It's a fortress disguised as a palace. Multiple residences. Rotating locations. You never sleep in the same place for too long. Other children have a bedroom with posters on the wall. You have a room that gets changed every few weeks for security reasons. The men outside your door don't smile. They don't make small talk. They stand like furniture, always there, never warm. Your father believes weakness is the most dangerous thing in the world. He was a KGB officer before he was a president. He learned, in the coldest rooms of Soviet intelligence, that emotion is a liability. That love, openly shown, becomes a weapon in enemy hands. So he loves you the only way he knows how. By making you invisible. You don't attend school. School comes to you. Private tutors. Hand-selected. Background checked to a level that would make most governments jealous. They teach you history, but a specific version of history. One where Russia is always the misunderstood giant. Always provoked. Never the aggressor. You're 12 years old before you realize that other countries have completely different textbooks. Languages come naturally to you. Russian, obviously. German, because your father spent years in Dresden. English, because power requires understanding your enemies. You learn to read a room before you learn to read a novel. You learn that silence, in Russian political culture, communicates more than words. Your father teaches you this personally. On one of the rare evenings he sits with you, he says nothing for almost 10 minutes. Then he looks at you and says, "The man who speaks first loses." Then he leaves. You sit there for another 10 minutes, alone, trying to figure out if that was a lesson or a warning. At 13 you discover the internet exists. This sounds basic. For you it is revolutionary. Your access has been filtered, monitored, curated. But you find a gap small, temporary, and you spend 40 minutes reading international news about your father, foreign newspapers, opposition blogs, Western analysis. You read words like authoritarian, corrupt, war criminal. You sit with those words for a long time. Not because you believe them entirely. Not because you reject them entirely. But because you realize for the first time that the man who tucks the country into bed every night is a monster to half the world, and you are his blood. That night at dinner, you almost ask him about it. You look at his face, controlled, unreadable, carved from something colder than stone, and you decide not to. The man who speaks first loses. Adolescence in your world has no normal milestones. No school dances. No driving lessons with a nervous parent in an empty parking lot. No first job. No fumbling through ordinary teenage experiences. Instead, at 15 you are brought into a meeting. Observers only. You sit in the corner while men in suits discuss things you are not supposed to fully understand yet. But you understand enough. You understand that decisions made in rooms like this one change the lives of millions of people. You understand that your father sits at the center of it, all like a gravitational force. Everything orbits him. Nothing escapes him. And you understand, with a clarity that feels too heavy for a 15-year-old, that this is the world you were born into, not chosen. Born into. There is a difference. And that difference will define everything. At 17, someone tries to get close to you. A girl. Smart, charming, interested in the same books you are. It takes you 4 months to realize she was placed there, not by an enemy, by your father's own people. A test. Loyalty assessment. They wanted to see what you would say when you thought no one was listening. You had said nothing compromising. You had, without being taught explicitly, already learned to perform privacy while living in a fishbowl. You passed the test. Your father never mentions it. But 2 weeks later, he looks at you across the dinner table with something that, on any other face, you might call pride. On his face, it looks like satisfaction. Like a weapon that has been tested and found functional. The weight of the name hits you fully at 20. You are in a foreign city, one of the rare, controlled trips abroad. And a stranger recognizes you, not a spy, not an operative, just a person. They look at you with something raw and real, not admiration, not fear, but grief. They lost someone. In a conflict. In a situation that traces back, in some unbroken line, to decisions your father made. They don't say anything. They just look at you, and you carry that look home. You carry it for years. Because you cannot apologize for your father. You cannot defend him either. You are simply the person who exists in the space between what he built and what it cost. At 25 you face the only question that matters. Everything is available to you: power, money, protection. The infrastructure of a nation, quietly, unofficially, at your disposal. You could step into the machinery, continue the legacy, become the next chapter of the same story, or you could disappear, build something quiet. Something that belongs to you alone, not to the myth, not to the history, not to the weight of a surname that echoes across geopolitical fault lines. But here's what nobody tells you about being born into absolute power. There is no quiet exit. There is no ordinary life waiting on the other side. The name follows you into every room, every country, every relationship. It is not a door you can close. It is the walls themselves. One night, you find an old photograph. Your father, young, impossibly young in a Soviet uniform, before the power, before the iron face, before the decades of control and calculation. He looks like a person, just a purse, uncertain, unfinished, not yet whatever he eventually became. You stare at it for a long time. And you wonder at what exact moment did he choose the power over everything else? Was it a single decision? Or 1,000 small ones, each one closing a door? Until one day he looked around and realized all the doors were gone. You are Vladimir Putin's son. You were born invisible and raised as a secret. You grew up inside the largest shadow in modern geopolitics. You carry a name that is simultaneously a shield, a weapon, and a life sentence. Every room you enter as his continuation. The only question left, the one only you can answer, is whether you finish his sentence, or write your own. This is your world. And in this world you are the most protected and most trapped person alive.